Come here, boy. Nope. Come here. Come. Sit. I don't know. Nope. Come here. Don't start running off places. Chill out. If you don't act right, we can't do this no more. I don't like taking them to the... Well, it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just the dog park has its own problems when you take your dog to the dog park. Because a lot of people, that's a whole topic in and of itself, but a lot of people, not everyone know how to raise dogs properly. So a lot of people at the dog park have dogs who are not really mentally balanced. Hey, come! You guys are going too far. Their dogs are not the most, well-rounded. And then they start a fight, and if you have big, powerful dogs and your dog hurt their dog, then it's your fault. So instead of doing that, I like to take them to places like this, especially around this time. It's Sunday. It's not a lot of people out here doing stuff. Most people are. I don't want him to go in the water. And he'll go too. Like, he'll jump head first. Nope, Apollo, hey. He'll jump head first in the water without any regard for his safety. Yeah, when your dog, come on, buddy, walk. Come on. Now you're too close to me. Walk. When your dog inevitably fuck their dog up, then it's your fault because you have big, strong, dangerous dogs. It's not their dog acting up, not knowing how to, be your dog. It's your fault because she's never gonna catch them. Athena! I don't want... Apollo, come! Hey, Apollo, come on! I don't want her to start running off and then he's definitely gonna fall off. That's a problem. This area is relatively closed off. I mean, other than right there, the only way to get on the road, really. Athena, come! Hey, come on! Apollo, come! Come on! The only way to get to the street is if they go over there on the grass, which, I don't think. Nope, Apollo, come on. I don't think they'll do that. So, the reason why I don't take my dogs, well, I rarely take them to the dog park. I used to. I still do every now and again, maybe like once a month. But the reason why I don't do it more often, instead I try to find like places like these, like secluded, like little areas where they can run around. Apollo, hey! Come on. The reason why is because of how dangerous the dog parks are. And I don't think enough people understand the kind of damage you could be doing to your dog, like psychologically and or physically, right? The reason why is because, well, the problem is, it's not dog parks or dogs, obviously. The problem is typically people. A lot of people who have dogs don't really know how to train their dogs to be level-headed. Like, I'm not talking about, like, training them to listen to everything you say, when you say it, how you say it. That's one thing. But training your dog to be, like, mentally sound is something else. And that's also very important, if not more important than teaching them how to, like, listen. Come on! Apollo, Athena, come! Teaching them how to listen and stuff like that. Nope. Hey, Athena, come on. Good boy. Athena. That's one thing. But teaching them how to be level-headed individuals, that's something even more important. And most people either neglect to do that or they just don't know how to do that. Which is, it's kind of sad, but because of that, it makes it hard to take your dog to the dog park, because this has happened to me, I think, twice, where I would take my dog to the dog park, something happens, and, as a result of it, my dog left with some kind of psychological, like, I don't want to say defect, because it's not anything that can't be fixed if I address it properly. Athena, come on! Apollo, come on! Come! it's not anything I can't fix if I address it properly. But in Athena's case, she's a very confident dog. But if I'm being honest, it's not to the level that I would like it to be, and it's because of it was my fault, just to be honest. Because when she was a puppy, I made the mistake. It was probably the second. They're about almost the same height. It's probably the second worst mistake that I ever made when it comes to dogs. What happened with Athena? So when she was about, I forgot how old she was, but just a few weeks old, I was anxious to take her to the dog park so she could play with other dogs. I just wanted to see what she would be like with other dogs. So I took her to the dog park, and the small side was empty where the puppies go, but the big side, like the big and medium size, was full. So I decided to take her to that side and have her kind of walk around, run around a little bit, and she'd be fine. And to be honest, it was fine. It wasn't necessarily the dog park that was the problem, or the dogs at the dog park. It was Athena and me. Hey, Apollo, come. Apollo, come. But that's why the dog park is not, that's one scenario where the dog park is not ideal, because depending on what happens and depending on how you react to it, you might be doing some kind of damage to your dog. So what happened was a Great Dane took interest in her because she was so small, and the Great Dane started following her around, and she got nervous. She started running, so he started chasing, and before she knew it, other dogs joined the chase. And then that's when she got really scared, and she started screaming and yelling at the top of her lungs. And there were like maybe 6-7 dogs around her, big dogs. None of them were being aggressive. None of them were attacking. They were just like curious and playful. And what I did, the mistake that I made, was I went over there and picked her up. And as soon as I did that, I put in her mind that whenever she's in trouble, all she has to do is look at me, and I'm gonna go over there and save her and pick her up and coddle her. And that was a mistake that I made with her. And ever since then, I feel like I kind of stunted her growth, like mentally and psychologically, where she's kind of, whenever she's faced with a scenario kind of like that, she gets stuck, and before she does anything else, she starts, yelping and yelling. Get it, boy, go. Apollo, go, get it, go. You disappoint me, Apollo. Come on, girl. And that was really, ever since that day, she's been kind of, whenever she's at the dog park, you can tell that she's nervous, that she's not as sure of herself as she typically is. And I worked on that with her a lot, and she got a lot better with it, to the point where now she's not as dependent on me as she typically is. But still, whenever she gets pushed or pressured by a really confident dog, she doesn't behave the way that I would want her to. But that's only in the dog park. Like out here like this, any dog pull up on us right now, I'm 100% sure, because I've seen her do it. I'm 100% sure that she can hold her own. But at the dog park specifically, it's like as soon as she goes into the dog park, she goes back into that time when she was a puppy and she was being chased. And then you can see her confidence getting a little shaky. What happened to Thor was not, well, what happened to him was my fault. It was 50% my fault. So what happened was, we took him to this dog park in Miami, and we went there because there's like a lake that the dogs like to, go in the water and stuff. So the way that the park is set up is when you go through the gate, there's kind of a walkway with railings on either side. And to get to the area, the large park for the dogs, where the dogs are, you have to go down that walkway. So Thor, myself, and this person that I was with at the time, we're walking down the walkway, and this pit bull, we were halfway down, and this pit bull sees us, and he made a beeline right for us. And I'm not a nervous guy when it comes to dogs. I don't necessarily care how big the dog is. I'm rarely nervous around dogs because I know dogs. I understand them. I know when a dog is going to attack. I know when a dog is not going to attack. Back then, though, I was still like a novice owner because I think he was my first dog still. Like I didn't get Athena yet. It was just Thor. Come on. And it was around a year and a half, if my memory is honest. But nope, nobody's going in the water. Not today. I'm not giving showers today. Come on. But the pit bull came for him, and well, basically they got into a fight. The problem was what I did that was wrong is, and I don't really give people advice, but if you get anything out of this whole long video, is that if a dog is attacking your dog and the other dog is off leash and your dog is on a leash, let your leash go. Especially, well, if your dog is capable of defending itself, right? So let's say you have a German Shepherd and someone with any dog actually, someone with a Rottweiler attacks your German Shepherd. The worst thing you can do for yourself and for that dog, Apollo, come here. I don't like you this close to the street. Come on. Come. The best thing you can do for yourself and for your dog, hey, sit, is to let your leash go. Because what's happening is, what you're doing is, by holding the leash, you're putting your dog at a disadvantage. Imagine you're in a fight with someone, and then as you're trying to fight the person in front of you, someone behind you has a rope around your neck and he's pulling the rope, right? It's very uncomfortable, and it puts you at a clear, heavy disadvantage. And that's what happened with Thor. Unfortunately, I was still holding the leash. He flipped on the leash, and he couldn't really fight. He couldn't get a bite, and the other dog hurt him. And then 5 minutes after that, this boxer came and did the same thing, and my dumbass was still holding the leash because after the pit bull attacked, I was nervous. I'll be honest, I was very nervous. And so I was still at the park, still holding the leash, and the boxer came and attacked again, and that was that. So if you get anything out of that whole that whole thing, I'm not an expert, so because of that, I rarely give advice. In fact, I never give advice. I always say, everything I learned, I found them in books and online. So if I can find them, then anyone can too. I'm not an expert. I'm not a trainer. I just do my own thing. But if I were to give anyone any advice when it comes to dogs, if you have a big, strong, capable dog and you're walking your dog on a leash or at a park or whatever, and another dog who's off leash attacks your dog, the best thing you can do is to let your dog defend itself. If you're pulling on that leash, you're gonna get you're basically double teaming your own dog. You're helping the other dog fuck your dog up, basically. And that's what I did.